Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Top of the Key. Today, we're going to look at the teams who have improved themselves through trade, through free agency, or just getting healthy. I am joined with our analyst, the Aces analyst, Krista and Carolyn Peck. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Finish them strong.
Okay, so the trade deadline, it has passed. So now what we want to do is look into the teams who have made some great trades. So first off, Carolyn, let's talk about Minnesota and them acquiring Myisha Hines-Allen. What does she bring to the Minnesota Lynx?
Well, I think that she solves the problem that Cheryl Reeve was really looking for, and that was they got eliminated last year because of foul trouble in the post. They really only had 3 in that rotation. Now that they have Myisha Hines-Allen, that's 4. Now, Myisha is a big body inside, and she's going to get you rebounds. She also is a tough defender in the paint, but the other thing she has the ability to do is stretch the floor. So when you've got that anchor inside, that'll allow Napheesa Collier to move around and also get the transition going with the rebounds she's able to get.
Yeah, as you said, she can step outside. She can hit the 3 as well. So I think it's a good get. Minnesota, probably one of the teams that made the most moves to start, and everybody questioned how would they be. Well, this group came together, so now you're bringing another veteran in that knows what her role will be and will accept what they need from her.
Now, Connecticut, the trade of Marina Mabrey from Chicago to Connecticut. You've got a big guard who can score the basketball. What else does she bring, Krista?
You know, she'll give them defense. She'll give them the effort that they needed, I think, defensively. She brings experience in her 5th season, but she's a veteran that's not ready to retire yet either. So you've got a Connecticut team that has a few players that are getting up there in their years as far as play goes. I just think she brings so many different aspects to it. She can push it. She can run the point for you. She can enable others and spread the floor. I love how she pushes tempo. I love what she brings to their team.
You know what I like about Mabrey is she's exactly what Stephanie White likes. Number one, she brings a little nasty to the floor. But she's also a point guard that's not afraid to use her voice. That's what you've got to have in the WNBA. You've got to have a player that's willing to take control on the floor. When you're playing with a player like Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner, it also allows Ty Harris to really focus on purely scoring and not having to run a team.
I like how you guys are talking about when you acquire these players, how it moves other people into different positions, and rightfully so. But let's move to Gabby Williams. Her signing with Seattle, that was a huge get for them. But what does she bring? What's the addition when you also look at their roster and what they acquired in the offseason, but getting Gabby Williams?
Well, what do you think when you think Gabby Williams? Energy.
Yes.
I mean, this is a guard that has laid it on the line. Ever since she played at Connecticut, she brings that speed. She plays up-tempo. She's a player that is not afraid to fly in and get rebounds. She can be that defensive lockdown player as well as knock down the shot. Remember in Paris,
oh, yeah.
If that 2 had been a 3, that game would have gone to overtime. So having a player that's willing to take and make big shots as well as defense, I think that's great for Gabby.
I do too. When I think of consistency, I mean, this was a team that she had been with, didn't come back over. She was playing with the national team for France, and so it was a question mark, would she even come back and play in the WNBA this year? And after she played the way she did for the French national team, you thought, okay, I hope she does, because I want to see her play in the WNBA again. And then she did. I love what she brings as far as consistency. She's one of those players that every time the shot goes up, you expect it to go in. But I also think she gives them length, and you've talked about this, Carolyn, the importance of guards with length in the WNBA right now. She gives them that too.
Having a healthy roster, how critical is that to your push for the playoff seeding? And let's talk about Indiana. When you're looking at how they're playing right now, this is a hot team, but now they're getting a little bit healthier. Let's talk about them.
Well, everybody wants to talk about Caitlin Clark and what she's brought, Kelsey Mitchell. But having Timmy Fagbinley, the key for her is having that reserve, having bench production, and having the ability to rebound and run the floor. And I think that not only since the break has Indiana gotten better, Caitlin Clark has improved, and the chemistry's gotten better, the depth has gotten better. And I think that rest was valuable for that young team. Not only rest, but they got repetition and they got opportunity to build that chemistry.
And Fagbinley was part of that depth, and she's an experienced international player as well that can bring that to a fairly young team in a lot of spots. And you mentioned Kelsey Mitchell. I think that Caitlin Clark, her numbers, I bet half the assists are going to Kelsey Mitchell. They're finding each other. They're starting to connect.
Well, Atlanta Dream has been plagued with injuries without Ryan Howard and without Jordan Canada. Alicia Gray has really been holding it down. So has Tina Charles. What does the addition of those two mean for the Atlanta Dream for their postseason run?
Well, I mean, just look at the Las Vegas Aces. With no Chelsea Gray, it forces other players like Jackie Young, like Kelsey Plum, to step into other roles and have to take on more. That's what has happened to Atlanta. When they didn't have Jordan Canada running the show, she can push, she can rebound, she can do just about everything at the point for this team. She can find Ryan Howard. Their perimeter got very thin, and it put a lot more pressure on Alicia Gray.
When you look at how Atlanta had to play last year without having that point guard, a lot of times it was Ryan Howard who had to run the point. Ryan Howard's a scorer. She's a shooter. So when you have Jordan Canada, that you've got to respect her ability to drive and get downhill. Now, she can shoot it too, but that opens up Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard on the perimeter. And you can't talk enough about what Tina Charles has done for the team as well inside. So having a strong point guard that not only can score it, create the offense, she also is a two-time all-defensive team as well.
Well, I know you like defense, Carolyn, so welcome back, Jordan Canada. Great to have you. But there's a couple other teams who also had sustained injuries who are now getting a little bit healthy. Washington in particular with Brittany Sykes.
Well, with Washington having Brittany Sykes back, they also had Shakira Austin back as well. The one thing Washington needed was consistent defensive presence, and that's what Brittany Sykes can bring, as well as getting out in transition. Now, in this latter half of the season, Washington plays spoiler. They may not get in the playoffs, but they may be the reason another team doesn't as well, because when you have a player like Sykes on the floor, Ariel Atkins, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, and the way she's shooting the basketball, Stephanie Dawson, Washington could be a dangerous team with the addition of Brittany Sykes.
Yeah, that team getting healthy, the Aces had to face them early on, and they were glad that they weren't completely healthy, because the team that even came out there at them at that point, if they just had a little more depth, look out. You're talking 4 starters at one time that was out for this team, and so you get half or more of those players back now to kind of go together. They could definitely be a spoiler.
Well, another team that has gained healthy players too, when you look at them without them, when we played them, is the Dallas Wings. The addition of their players has totally changed the look and complexion of what they're able to do on both sides of the basketball, Carolyn.
On paper, when you started out the season and you looked at having Satu Sabally next to Natasha Howard, along with Arike Agumbawale, you thought, Dallas, this is a team you got to worry about. Now, not having Satu the first part of the season was a problem, but now she's back. This is a team that's low on the list of making the playoffs, but I think that they could be a team that could have that heroic comeback and get that number A spot.
And without Natasha Howard, I mean, you look at those two players, you talk about length. I mean, they're truly guards that can shoot the three, but they can post up as well. And then you look at Brown on the interior, Kalani Brown, as well as Tierra McCowan. The combination of that much length, they've been just incredibly tough to stop on the boards.
Carolyn, Krista, thank you for breaking everything down on Top of the Key.